So, ladies and gentlemen, we bought a new kind of coffee, this kind of bulletproof coffee, and I'm feeling quite energized. So, today we're gonna rant on this weird kind of title about cold approach pickup and how it relates to a spiritual pursuit or spirituality, if you may. And I'll give you some examples because I know this sounds kind of weird. But first of all, I just want to introduce this topic as pickup has been a very big part of my life and has been something that really, let's say, started or kickstarted my self-development. And I think this is the reason that many young men start getting into self-development as well, because nowadays young men are getting more and more lonely. I mean, you can see the rise of creators talking about this. You can see some stats you can find about guys who are incels and stuff like that. And to me, it was very much the same. I didn't have any girls on my teenagehood or like early 20s as well, which is pretty embarrassing. And I felt like there was something wrong, and I was falling into like this shitty depression place where I was just constantly escaping. And I got to a point where I was like, okay, enough is enough. I got to do something about it. And I just kind of loaded on my computer and started looking into these guys who were talking about cold approach and whatnot. And it was so scary to me to do this kind of thing because I always felt like I had zero inherent value. And now I'm like, fuck, I have no value. And I have to somehow convince this girl that I am valuable enough so she could sleep with me. And so this was the whole experience. And the reason for that is our biological drives kind of push us to become in the beginning, they kind of push us to be the man that we're supposed to be, right? So this is exactly what I did. I just was going out on my own because I was so scared of people judging me. I was so scared of being made fun of by my friends and by whoever it is. And I was going out on my own and I was just trying to talk to random people, trying to talk to girls, especially at night, because, you know, it's more of like a conductive environment for that. And I started doing it and I started talking and I started kind of, you know, some nights where I felt like people were reacting well to me, I would feel comfortable in my own skin. And I was starting to realize just how big the gap was between me being comfortable in my own skin, being charismatic, you know, they call it being in state, and my normal state. So there was this huge gap. So one thing I realized was once I got in state, everything was so much simpler. Everything was so easy. It was easy to socialize. It was easy to have fun. And that kind of made me realize that, oh, there is more to this than just picking up the girls. The thing that I'm really passionate about is being able to exert my will upon the world. And cold approach pickup can be spiritual precisely because of this, because you realize that you're very much trapped in your head most of the time. You're very much stifled. You're very much anxious. And then obviously picking up girls is nice, but you also are curious now, like, okay, but why am I so in my head all the time? Why am I so stifled, even by default? Why do I not feel this state more and more? And so the reason why you're not in state more and more, and the reason why you feel in state when you're social in the first place, when you're successfully, let's say, social in the first place, is because you don't feel safe in your body by default. And you don't feel safe on being yourself. You don't feel safe on acting upon your will, because perhaps in the past you were rejected by being you. And now what you realize is that, oh, you can be you and people will validate you. And the validation allows you to feel comfortable in the social circle. And so you can be a bit more you. And people validate that again because, you know, you're a bit more unstifled. And the more people validate you, the more comfortable you begin to be, the more you can kind of stretch the boundaries of social interactions. And the more you can do that and get approval, then the more comfortable you start to feel and at ease in your body. But the truth is, you don't feel this by default because you don't feel comfortable with who you are. You reject yourself. You're perhaps scared. You are perhaps traumatized by bullying, by your parents, by whatever conditions arised when you were growing up. And you don't feel like who you are is acceptable. So that's why you're not in state, because you cannot accept who you are. You need other people to accept who you are so that then you can accept yourself. And so the challenge for you, and for me, because I mean, I'm also in this pursuit, is can you accept yourself? And we go all the way back to the letting go meditation and whatnot. You can check other videos. I'm not going to go in detail about this, but realize how cold approach pickup, how talking to girls leads you to the same place. You want to pick up more girls, you need to be more in state. How do you become in state? Well, you can only accept who you are because that's how you get in state. You only get in state when people validate you because you don't accept who you are. You're just looking for their validation. You understand? So again, this is what I wanted to get at in this video. Cold approach pickup is a spiritual pursuit in the sense that you realize that what you're missing is not necessarily the girl. I mean, obviously from a biological standpoint, It is, but it is so much deeper than that. And so when you're looking to pick up girls and when you're looking to, go out and talk to strangers and develop yourself, I think that's fantastic. I mean, I think the best advice you can do is always kind of follow your fear. Not your fear, like don't jump off a cliff. Come on, use your brain, man. Just follow your fear in the sense of follow that which you know that you are afraid, but you shouldn't be somehow, right? You know what I mean? And like and comment the video and make this a win-win. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.